Welcome to another one of my videos in our node by node challenge where we're going through every single node in the shading workspace within Blender 4.3. We've gone through all the inputs and outputs and colors and converters, and we are on the shader menu as far as which options we're going through, and we are on the shader that is called Glass BSDF. Now, Glass BSDF is a pretty straightforward option. Allows you to have a color input, a roughness input, an index of refraction input, and a normal input. And then it has one output, which is a BSDF that is green that goes right into your surface. So a very basic form, if you just plug it into your surface, it's going to give you a glass look to it. Super simple, pretty reflective. You can control the roughness of it if you want to make it have a little bit rougher look to where it's not as reflective, more like a frosted glass. The farther you go, the more it's going to have that look to it. And if you want it to basically be non-reflective at all, you can get it up to almost 1. But at its default form, it's going to be at 0, which is going to give you a fully reflective. The index of refraction, you can control where the reflection is directed, so, and how the light is refracted off this. So it starts out at 1.5. You can go a little bit lower if you want it to be more of a straight reflection of what you're looking at. You can go higher, which will kind of do the same thing, or you can kind of stay somewhere in the middle, which is going to give you the typical glass, which is that inverted look reflection off of it, especially on a sphere like this. So this is a pretty straightforward one that you can use. It does give you the input to allow you to change the colors. So if it's like a red glass or a yellow glass, whatever color glass it is, you can do that. You can also combine it with, a lot of times people will combine it with a transparent BSDF. So if I type in transparent, which we're going to get to here in a minute, and I do a mix shader, which we also are going to get to here shortly. Basically, you can combine the two, and what it's going to do is it's going to almost give it a see-through look to it by doing that. And you can control which direction it goes. Want it to have more like a bubble look to it, or if you want it to be full-on glass. Just allows you to kind of play around with it a little bit. So that's something that's pretty cool. The other thing too is if you want to be able to give it like a different look to it as overall, you can actually add a Fresnel node onto here and give it a little bit of like a rim light almost, so to speak. So you could give it like kind of a bubble look, but you could take this Fresnel node and you could literally just add in, so instead of, let's say instead of using the transparent BSDF, I'll just throw this principled BSDF on here, and you're gonna see it's got kind of a hue around it, like a white hue. So you could actually give it kind of a little bit of a border around the edge, give it a weird look to it like this, almost like an eyeball. But if you do it like this, it's going to have just kind of that white rim light around it. You can see a little bit of white in here, and there's some other ways you can do it using the Fresnel node that are a lot better, but that just gives you an idea. So there's all kinds of things you can do. You can plug in all sorts of different shaders and everything in here to mix in with the glass, but as a whole, you're only going to have the 3 options, and I think I mentioned these before, but basically this is going to be the highest quality, most taxing on your system. GGX is kind of like mid-grade, a little bit less detail, but it's going to have a little bit less taxing on your system. And then Beckman is going to be a completely different look to it. So if you kind of look at the difference between multi-scatter and the regular GGX, they're about the same. And then Beckman is technically a little bit lower quality. So something to keep in mind when you're deciding which one you want to use is kind of the balance between how taxing on your system it is, and then also the quality of it. So that's the Glass BSDF. Hopefully this helps a little bit. And make sure you like, follow, share, and stay tuned for the next one.